Last time on what everyone should know about Abraham.
This is the first thing that we learned from Ibrahim alayhi salam. People like to follow the majority. People like to stay comfortable by doing what everybody else is doing. But Ibrahim alayhi salam is a young man who knows, I'm not going to do what everybody else does. I'm going to do what I think is right. But I'm going to use my mind to get there. So let's figure out how he does this. I'm going to read something to you from the Quran about, this is by the way, young Ibrahim. I told you two kinds of Ibrahim, right? Young Ibrahim and old Ibrahim.
With stars above, the sun and the moon, a boy asked questions and searched for the truth. He smashed their lies, flew into the blaze they threw, but to their surprise, the fire stayed cool. He sacrificed a ram, submitting to God's rule, and built with his son a legacy renewed. What everyone should know about Abraham alayhi salam.
I told you two kinds of Ibrahim, right? Young Ibrahim and old Ibrahim. So this is the beginning of young Ibrahim. وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ. When Ibrahim alayhi salam said to his father, Azar. So Ibrahim's father, Azar, by the way, now he's a kid talking to his dad. Who has more knowledge, a kid or a dad? A dad does, right? The adult is the dad, the child is the kid. And the kid is not telling his dad, he's going to ask his dad a question. He says, أَأَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. Do you take these statues and you basically consider them gods? Each of them, these statues? إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. From what I can tell, I actually see that you and your entire nation, you dad, and everybody else in the country, everybody else in the village, are all confused and lost. That's what I think. So the son is telling his dad that dad is confused and lost. And he asked him, he didn't say, Dad, you are wrong. He said, is that what you're doing? Are you taking these gods as statues? Now I want you to pay attention to something. He didn't, and I'll see if you can do this as an experiment with me. Who would like to be part of this experiment? Come up here. I'm going to pretend to be the son. You have to pretend to be the father. Who's going to do it? No, I'm going to be the son. I need a pretend father. You want to pretend father? Come on. Come up here. What's your name? Ayan, come on. Give Ayan this mic. Ayan, I'm going to pretend to be a son who doesn't like to pray. Like salah.
Yeah.
Okay? And you have to tell me to pray. But you have to tell me to pray without saying the words pray. Or you have to pray. You have to find some other way to get me to pray. Okay. So you can start. Or I go, Dad, I don't want to pray.
But everyone else is doing it. It's what's like.
I don't care about everybody else. I'm an individual person with my own feelings.
But like, it's a collect thing, and you have to like.
Did you say you have to? I don't have to anything. What do you mean I have to?
You have to listen to it.
I have to listen to you? But why? Because what?
It's collect and everyone else is doing it.
Because everyone else is doing it. So if everybody else was like drinking poison, should I like drink poison with everybody else? Because I would have a lisp, obviously. Yeah. Huh? So why should I listen to everybody else?
Because it's correct.
Why is it correct?
Because you're supposed to listen to your dad.
Because you're supposed to listen to your dad? I'm not gonna. You tried. I'm a difficult son, I know. What was I doing other than being difficult? How was I communicating? What did I keep repeating? I kept asking questions. What were some of my questions? Why? Why do I have to? Right? I kept saying why? Was he asking questions or was I asking questions? I was asking questions. Okay, somebody else pretend to be my dad, but this time, you have to be the one asking questions. You're still the dad, I'm still trying not to pray, but you have to keep putting questions on me instead of me putting questions on you. You understand? So don't tell me to pray, ask me questions. What kind of questions are you going to ask me? You got to figure this out yourselves. Let's see. You want to try it? Come on. Ayan raised your hand. What's your name? Hassan, come on. I don't want to pray, Dad.
You gonna go to Jahannam?
No.
Then pray.
Okay. Okay, fine. When you ask someone a question, then you are forcing them to give not just their answer, but their reasons. They have to explain themselves. In my first pretend dad, I kept making him give answers, right? So he's always trying to come up with an answer. But because, and eventually he gets frustrated. So because I said so, I'm your dad. Okay? You better do it because I'm your dad. But when Ahsan asked a question, it was a tough question. You want to go to Jahannam? Then now who has to come up with an answer? I do. Now I could have asked him tougher questions, but I don't even believe in Jahannam. I could have said that. And then he would have been like, then what would your question be if I said, I don't even believe in Jahannam? What would your question be?
Where would you go after you die?
Oh, then you would ask another question. Where do you think you're going to go after I die? Right? I'd say, I don't know, worms. Huh. It's tough, I know. But what do the questions do? If he keeps asking questions, he's going to force me to think more and more, isn't he? Because when you ask someone questions, you're forcing them to what? To think. But if you just tell someone to do something, you didn't make them think anything. A lot of times our kids, I'm talking to the parents for a second, a lot of times our kids are like, I don't feel like praying. Why do I have to pray? Like all the time, I already did it like 2 days ago. You're going to pray because I said so. You start with Allah said so. Then you're like, Jahannam. Then you're like, oh, you're not afraid of Jahannam? You don't need to worry about Jahannam. I'll give you a preview right now. Right? But if you did that, if instead of asking questions, if you just said, you better pray because I told you to pray, did you actually make the child think? No. You didn't make them think. Ibrahim alayhi salam is not trying to convert his father. Ibrahim alayhi salam is trying to make his dad what? Think. And the best way to get someone to think is to ask them questions. A couple of weeks ago, it was Easter holiday. It was Easter. And I decided to go to a church on Easter. Yeah, I went to a church, I heard the whole session, the singing, the whole thing. And there were some church volunteers and youth ministers that I sat and talked with. They don't know who I am. So I was like, yeah, I'm having some trouble with some of the things that I learned in the church. I didn't say, you're wrong, the Trinity's wrong. None of that. I'm just having some trouble, and I have some questions. And then I ask a question, and they give an answer. And that answer makes me ask another question. Then they give an answer. Then that answer makes me ask another question. And then another question. And then another question. And then they got frustrated. And then they're like, you're really smart. I was like, no, I just watch YouTube videos. And I said, then what about Islam? I was like, yeah, I can answer those, but that still doesn't answer my question. I still have my question. Because if you learn to ask questions, you are forcing someone to actually use their brain. And then he didn't even say, you're wrong, Dad. He said, are you taking these statues as gods? Which means the dad has to explain why. And then he's also saying, I think you're confused. He doesn't say you're confused. He said, I think. So he's talking about himself. He's not talking about his dad. He's just talking about what I think. He's saying that, from what I can tell, this looks like confusing behavior with everybody. So if you want to help me out, just answer my questions. You could just do that, and then maybe I'm wrong. Right? So he's putting it in the form of questions. You have to learn to put things in the form of questions. You have to think about things in the form of questions. So when everyone's doing something, this happens in many homes. Hey, I want to get these shoes. No, you can't get those shoes. Why not? Well, why do you want those shoes? Everybody's getting them. Everybody got them. My friend got them. My enemy got them. My frenemy got them. I didn't get them. But what was your reason for wanting the shoes? But everybody's not a reason. Remember, when you say the majority makes normal, then basically then you're like a sheep. You know what a sheep does? The sheep, when one sheep goes this way, the second and the third sheep also go that way, and then the fourth and the fifth, and 100 sheep are going in the same direction. And if one sheep falls off a cliff, guess what happens to the other sheep? They all, meh, halal, meh, haram. Like, they all fall off a cliff. Why? Because they just follow. So when you say, I want something, and your mom or your dad says, why? Well, because I think it's a really well-manufactured shoe in a factory in China. And I like paying 5 times the price because it has a label on it. Now you give good reason. But you say, everybody's wearing it. That's not a reason, is it? Because Ibrahim alayhi salam could have followed the religion of everybody else, and if somebody said, why are you following it? What would his answer be? If he was following it, what would the answer be? Everyone does it. When you use everyone does it as an answer, then you're not like Ibrahim alayhi salam, you're like everyone else. We are the followers of Ibrahim alayhi salam. His choices, I told you yesterday, his choices affect our choices. His way of thinking needs to become our way of thinking. So we don't think like the majority. We don't do something because everybody does something. We do something because we ask questions and we find the answers. You with me? Okay, this is a really important piece of this. You have your hand up, young man. Tell me, what's on your mind?
I think you're wrong with the, I don't know if you're wrong with the other gods, because I think there's no other God.
I like you. I am wrong about the other gods. You're right, there is no other God. La ilaha illallah. Very good. So he asked this question to his father, and then he says this. He wants to show the entire society why they're wrong. So he put on a show. Ibrahim alayhi salam put on a show. Here's what he did. He says, Allah tells us, He says, كَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ. And that is how we showed Ibrahim alayhi salam the kingdom of all the skies and all the earth. It's one kingdom. It's not lots of kingdoms. It's one kingdom of all the skies and all the earth. What did the other people religion believe? The sun is a different kingdom. The moon is a different kingdom. The rain is a different kingdom. The winds are a different kingdom. Allah said, we showed Ibrahim alayhi salam that the entire universe and beyond is all what? One kingdom, one king, one ruler. That's what Allah showed him. And he was convinced this is the only way this makes sense is if there's only one king. Otherwise, they're at war with each other. The sun and the moon would start their own intergalactic war, and they both would be destroyed. Something would happen. Something would go wrong. But everything is working in harmony. That means there's one ruler above all of them that keeps them all in check, controls all of them at the same time. You understand? Now he wants to show his entire village how wrong they are. So he goes out there and he puts on a show. And here's the show. فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ رَأَى كَوْكَبًا. When the night came, he saw one of the biggest, shiniest stars, planet. The Jupiter looks like a star sometimes. He saw that and he said, قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. He said, oh, this is my God. This is my master. Does he believe that that's God? No. Who is he trying to show? People. And people believe that. The people around him believe that. So he says, this is my Rabb. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ. And when it disappeared, when the star disappeared, he said, I don't love things that disappear. I can't love that stuff. I'm not impressed because it disappeared. The star disappeared. Now, this is an important lesson before I give you your first break, because I'm going to keep giving you breaks. Why would Ibrahim alayhi salam say, I don't love those that disappear? Let's think about that for a moment, okay? Ibrahim says, I cannot love those who disappear. If some people believed in a God of, let's say, God of summer, or a God of winter, and the winter didn't come that year, or it wasn't a good winter that year, right? Then that year, they're like, this God didn't show up for me. That God didn't do anything for me. I don't have a good relationship with this God because winter was no good. If they believed in a God of rain, I keep talking about the rain, if they believed in a God and it didn't rain, then people will say what? God, this God, what a terrible season. What a low score on this God. I gave him 2 stars. You know? And if one of their gods is a god of, let's say, fertility or having babies, and there's lots of babies in the village that year, like this God gets 5 stars. Right? In other words, when they do something for you, then they're there. And when they don't do something for you, they disappear. So your only relationship with your God is when that God does something for you, and the moment he stops doing something for you, he's not there anymore. Ibrahim alayhi salam is actually also saying, I cannot have a relationship with any of these because none of these are doing something for me all the time. They're not permanent. None of them are permanent. All of them are temporary. The star is temporary. He did this with the moon. The moon is temporary. He did this with the sun. The sun is temporary. And he was showing people that we have a relationship not with these things and their gods. We're supposed to have a relationship with who alone? With Allah. But why is that different? I said something in the beginning of this session. I'm going to end with it. So we connect everything together. I said people used to have different religions, and in these religions there were gods. And what was some of the things about those gods? They used to get easily what? Very good. You remember. They used to get easily angry. And do they do things for you for free? No. You have to do something for them, and then they do something for you. They do something for you only after you do something for them. Right? They get jealous of each other. They get jealous of each other. Ibrahim alayhi salam believes in Allah, who number one, is not, you don't have to be afraid of these always angry and you have to do something to make him unangry, etc. That's not Allah. Number two, and most importantly, he's not there for you when he does something for you and then he disappears when he's not doing something for you. He's always there. He's always there. And he's not doing something for you and waiting for you to do something for him first and then he'll do something for you. He gave me my eyes. He gave me all my body parts. He gave me my parents. He gave me my mind. He gave me my tongue. He gave me my ability to earn a living. Did I give him anything yet? No. When there's a baby and the baby's being taken care of inside the mom and outside the mom, when you're being raised, all of the things that are being taken care of, did you make a payment for any of that stuff? Think about how much did you pay for your leg? Because I imagine it's a little expensive. Because if I ask somebody to sell me their leg, right? What are you willing to sell me? Okay, just don't give me both eyes. I'll just buy one of your eyes. Just one, I'll scoop it out. You willing to sell it? No, it's priceless, right? It's priceless. But did Allah charge you for it? And did Allah say, now that I've given you one eye, you better pay me with some, did He? No. This God that Ibrahim alayhi salam believes in already owns everything. He's already the king of everything. So he's not asking you for anything because he already owns everything. Like these other kings, they ask you for stuff because they don't own everything. They need to add to their wealth in some way. But Allah does not need anyone to add to His wealth in any way. And He doesn't disappear. He's not there, when you were having when life was good for you, Allah was there. When life was bad for you, Allah wasn't there anymore. That's just not true. That's the way the other religions think. Allah never disappears. So He says, "Inni wajjahtu wajhiya lilladhi fatara as-samawati wal ard." I am just turning my face, because they used to turn their faces towards these statues. They used to bow to them and put flowers on them and food on them and all this other stuff. He says, the only one I will turn my face towards is the one who created all of this. I will not put any other mini gods next to him. Mama ana min al-mushrikeen. That's what he says, right? This is his way of showing his people why he believes in this one pure God, one true God, that is not like any other gods. Do you think when his dad heard this, do you think his dad said, that makes a lot of sense, son? My 13-year-old boy, this is some deep wisdom you dropped. I'm ready to break all these idols myself. Let's go break the rest of them in the village. Is that what his dad is going to do? And when he shows all of his village that everything that they think is normal is all wrong, do you think the people in his village are going to get offended? Well, they're going to get offended. They're going to get offended. And when people get offended, they could do two things. This is, again, something you have to learn. What did Ibrahim a.s. do to make people think? No. We're not talking about destroying statues yet. Good. Now you remember, he asked questions. He asked questions. If they wanted to defend their religion, if they wanted to say our religion is right, they could answer his questions. The right answer would be, here is my proof why this religion is right. What's the wrong answer? Everybody does it. Everybody does it is never going to be the right answer for anything, right? By the way, Muslims, forget non-Muslims, Muslims, sometimes do Muslims use everybody does it for their answer? Well, then when we do that, we act less like Ibrahim alayhi salam, we act more like his village. Right? I'm teaching you this story because sometimes we forget that we are supposed to be like who? That's our father. Ibrahim alayhi salam is our father. His villagers are not, his fellow villagers are not our father. We can't be acting like them. We got to act like him. We got to be the ones to ask the questions. But there are two ways to have an argument. This is what I'm going to end with. And we're going to unpack that in a couple of minutes, after I give you a break. Wait, give me a second, I'll come back to you, beta. Okay. So, here's what I want to share with you. There's two ways to make an argument. You can make an argument by asking a question and answering a question. Give me your reasons, let me explain my reasons. Give me reasons, explain my reasons. I have a question, you answer the question. That's one way to learn something, to have an argument. Another way to have an argument is to use feelings. One way is to use reasons, and the other one is to use feelings. I'll make it super simple. Two ways to have an argument. I'll say it one last time so it sticks in your head. Two ways to have an argument. You can use reasons and you can use feelings. Let me show you what an argument looks like when you use feelings. I don't want to pray. You're going to pray because I'm your dad. What feeling is the dad putting in his son? Fear. Fear is a feeling, right? If the dad said, well, you should pray because Allah commanded us to pray, and if you don't believe that that's something important, let me show you why it's important. Is that a feeling answer or is that a reason answer? That's a reason answer. When you have a discussion, you can either use reasons and you can or use feelings. Which one is true? Are feelings more closer to the truth or are reasons closer to the truth? Reasons are closer to the truth. There's a question, 2 + 2 = 5. Is it? It's very wrong? Imagine, what grade are you in? 3rd grade. 2 + 2 is what? Okay, so there's a kid next to you in class. He's 2 times your size. And he wrote 2 + 2 is 5. And you're like, hey, that's wrong. And he says, 2 + 2 is 5. And what do you say to him?
It's wrong.
I said 2 + 2 is 5.
It's still wrong.
I think you don't understand what I'm saying to you. What argument am I using? I'm using a feeling. I'm trying to manipulate a feeling, right? Fear. Or for example, your mom says, come eat dinner. And you don't come and you say, you know, I made such good food and you still didn't come to dinner. Is your mom using what? Guilt? Maybe guilt, right? You can use guilt, you can use fear, you can use anger, you can use shame, you can use any of these feelings, right? The people of Ibrahim alayhi salam came to him and they said to him, we're worried about you. You're saying these strange things. Everybody's talking about you. We don't want you to do this to yourself. We like you. You know? Why are you talking about this invisible God? You have all these wonderful gods right here. What's gone wrong with you? You're from such a good family. Your dad even made this one. That one, your dad made that one. Aren't you like ashamed that you're making your dad look bad? How could you do this to your family? How could you do this to your people? You should just stop doing this. What are they using to try to turn Ibrahim alayhi salam away? Feelings. Did Ibrahim alayhi salam use feelings or did he use reasons? So there's a battle in the world. There's a battle in the world between people who follow reason and people who follow feelings. There's two different things. There's two different things. And we're going to see how Ibrahim alayhi salam is going to respond to him being attacked with feelings instead of him being attacked with reasons. With reasons. So I'm going to give you guys a 5-minute break and then we're going to come back and try to finish this discussion. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You can ask me the questions off the mic.
Here's a sneak peek of the next episode of What Everyone Should Know About Abraham.
When you follow reasons, there will be lots of people who will make you feel bad about it. I'll say it again. When you follow the truth, there are plenty of people who are going to make you feel ashamed for following the truth. And this will happen not just when you're a kid, not just when you're in college, not just when you get married. This will happen your entire life. If your religion is being decided by what people think, then you may think you have Islam, but you definitely don't have the religion of Ibrahim.